This is the 7th video in a series of 17 videos exploring the book, The Power of Discipline, How to Use Self-Control and Mental Toughness to Achieve Your Goals, by Daniel Walter. In this episode, we'll dive into Chapter 7. What is hindering your discipline? Take a deep breath and think with me. How many times have you made a plan, promised yourself you'd start on Monday, and ended up sabotaging yourself before even beginning? How many times have you known exactly what needed to be done and still didn't do it? The truth is, after the age of 40, there's never a shortage of reasons to delay our dreams. The accumulated fatigue, the responsibilities, the fear of failing again, the feeling that time is running faster than ever. But beneath all that, something deeper is happening. There are invisible forces sabotaging our discipline. Daniel Walter calls these forces hidden factors. And when we apply this wisdom to our financial lives, especially for those of us trying to rebuild, we realize that what's missing isn't money, it's self-mastery. Because prosperity isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much focus you can maintain and how consistently you act on what truly matters. One of the first enemies of discipline is what he calls Parkinson's law. It states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. In other words, the more time you give yourself to do something, the more time it will take. Have you noticed? When the deadline is far away, your mind relaxes, the urgency fades. But when the deadline is short, you focus, you eliminate distractions, and you get it done. And that's an essential point for anyone seeking prosperity. If you want to transform your life, you must create shorter deadlines and stronger commitments with yourself. It's not about rushing, it's about focusing. The more you postpone financial decisions, the more energy you lose in indecision. Money loves movement, and movement is born from discipline. Another invisible enemy of prosperity is procrastination disguised as logic. That inner voice that says, I'll start when everything is in place, when I have the time, the money, the motivation. But that right time never comes, because the mind will always find a new excuse. And the problem is that every time you postpone an important action, you reinforce the belief that you're not ready yet, and you end up trapped in an endless waiting loop. Procrastination is the opposite of discipline. While discipline brings us closer to abundance, procrastination keeps us chained to scarcity. And the curious thing is, the older we get, the more sophisticated our excuses become. We call it planning, or waiting for the ideal moment, or thinking things through. But often, it's just fear, disguised as rationality. Fear of failing, fear of starting and realizing it's not that easy, fear of facing the discomfort that every real transformation demands. Daniel Walter says that the greatest mistake we make is waiting for perfect conditions, and that couldn't be truer, especially when it comes to money. People who wait for the right moment to invest, study, start a business, or change careers almost always end up waiting their entire lives. The right moment is now, and perfection is the enemy of progress. There's a principle in the book called the 70% rule. It says, start when you're 70% ready, because total certainty doesn't exist. You'll never know everything. You'll never eliminate every risk, but confidence is built along the way. Life responds to action, not to waiting. So, if you're trying to reorganize your financial life, apply this rule. Start with what you have. Learn as you go. Don't wait for the perfect scenario to start investing, saving, or creating a new source of income. Clarity comes from action, and action is the child of discipline. Another powerful concept this chapter brings up is the false hope syndrome. It happens when we believe that changing habits is easy. How many times have you told yourself, this time it's going to work, only to see everything go back to the way it was a week later? That's because we set unrealistic expectations and underestimate how much effort real change takes. We want fast results without paying the price of discomfort. But discipline isn't about speed. It's about consistency. In the financial world, the false hope syndrome appears when we believe that earning more money will solve everything. But prosperity doesn't depend on luck. It depends on mental structure. It's not about how much comes in. It's about how consciously you manage, multiply, and direct what you already have. It's not about how much money comes in. It's about how wisely you know how to manage it, multiply it, and direct it. And that takes emotional maturity, something that only grows through daily discipline. Walter quotes psychologist Peter Herman, who says, "Failure is more common than success, not because we want to fail, but because we pursue extreme transformations we can't sustain." And here lies one of the greatest lessons of this chapter. Discipline isn't about grand gestures. It's about small acts of faithfulness. It's waking up a little earlier to study, even when you're tired. It's saving a small amount of money, even when it feels insignificant. It's continuing to plant seeds, even when you can't yet see the results. Because every harvest takes time, and time always rewards those who don't give up. After 40, this lesson becomes even more valuable. Life has already shown us that shortcuts come with a high price, and that everything solid takes time to build. Discipline is the muscle of prosperity. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you're strengthening that invisible muscle that supports your confidence, your focus, and your ability to prosper. And there's one last essential point in Walter's teaching: the importance of taking action even in doubt. Doubt isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of growth. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, fear will show up. But that fear is proof that you're moving forward. If the path feels completely comfortable, it's probably the same old path, the one that keeps you exactly where you are. To prosper after 40, you need courage. The courage to begin even without guarantees. You don't need to have everything planned out. You just need to take the first step. The plan will adjust along the way. Discipline is what keeps you steady when enthusiasm fades. And enthusiasm always fades. But discipline, when well cultivated, endures. So, if today you feel stuck, drained, or unmotivated, maybe the problem isn't exhaustion. Maybe it's a lack of purpose. Because purpose is the fuel of discipline. When you connect with a true why, something that makes sense to your soul, effort stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like a path. Discipline is not a prison. Discipline is freedom. It's the power to say yes to what truly matters and no to what pulls you away from what you desire most. It's the foundation of mature prosperity, the kind that grows from the inside out. So I invite you to reflect. What invisible forces have been holding you back from taking action? What excuses have kept you stuck in stagnation? Could it be that you've been waiting too long to start what your heart already knows must be done? Remember, the best time to plant was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. Discipline doesn't bloom in haste, but it also doesn't grow in waiting. It's born from a daily commitment to do what needs to be done, even when it doesn't yet feel like the perfect moment. If this video spoke to you, hit the like button, share it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment saying, "I choose to act with discipline and prosper with purpose." Also, be sure to check out our materials on financial mindset, linked in the first pinned comment. I'll see you in the next video.